Also at the Weekly Talk, the Holy Father invited the faithful to pray for his upcoming trip to Mongolia. In his remarks to Spanish-speaking pilgrims, the Pope asked for prayers for the trip that starts tomorrow night. He'll spend 4 days in the Asian nation. The main part will be his meetings with a small Catholic community, only around 1,500 faithful. EWTN Vatican News Correspondent Colm Flynn is in Mongolia and has more.
A very good evening, Tracy, from Mongolia. Since we last spoke to you a number of days ago, we have been continuing our tour across this incredible country. We spoke to you from the capital, Ulaanbaatar, the last time. We have travelled 7 hours into the countryside, into a rural area of the country where we met with a nomadic herder family. Now, this family invited us into their home, which was a traditional gyr. This is the tent where they live. And they have been herding for generations. It was incredible, Tracy, to sit there with the family in their home. They showed us their small Buddhist temple and the gods they prayed to. They gave us great Mongolian hospitality with the freshest horse milk they had, and so on. But Tracy, what was incredible about talking to them about their lives and their way of living was when we talked about Pope Francis's upcoming visit, we asked them had they heard of the Catholic Church or Pope Francis, but they said something that we have heard echoed again and again travelling throughout Mongolia. They weren't aware of it, and they said we have never been or go to those foreign churches. That is how the Catholic Church is viewed by the majority of the population here in Mongolia, that it is a foreign church coming into a land where the majority of people are Buddhists or shamanists. Now, with Pope Francis's upcoming visit, it is hoping that that may change a bit in the country, because after we were with that herding family, we went to visit Father Dido. He is in a parish close by where they actually celebrated Sunday Mass in a traditional gyr. The church in that community is not in a building like you or I would know at home. It was in the traditional tent, the style of the Mongolian people. And after Mass, we sat down with Father Dido. He is a missionary priest here. There are only 2 Mongolian priests in the entire country. And he said that he hopes the visit of Pope Francis will help change some of those misconceptions about the Catholic Church in the country and make people more open to the faith and learning more about it. Back in the capital, Ulaanbaatar, we met Father Sanjiva. He is one of the country's only 2 Catholic priests who is Mongolian. And speaking to him, Tracy, it was incredible to hear about his story of becoming a priest in Mongolia, but also about, again, the suspicion that he has to deal with, the trouble dealing with the authorities here in a country where, yes, since the early 90s, they do have religious freedom and freedom of expression. But as he told me again in the interview, as we've heard from other religious here, problems getting visas, problems with permits for church buildings, these are things that they have to deal with day in and day out here. But he said, we try slowly, bit by bit, to try and help people understand what the Catholic Church is about and what they are trying to do in the country. We visited an orphanage that is run by the Catholic Church, by a missionary group here. We visited the Sisters of Charity, who look after the elderly in a poorer part of the city. And all this, Tracy, has been recorded for a very special report, an in-depth look at the Catholic Church in Mongolia that is going out this Friday on EWTN News In Depth. But for just now, just a few days out from the Holy Father's arrival here in Mongolia, this is Colm Flynn for EWTN News Nightly.